Okay, I'm going to call the meeting of the Board of Directors of River Plantation Municipal Utility District to order on Tuesday, May 23rd at 6:30 p.m. Okay. All directors are in attendance. First item on the agenda is to approve the minutes of the meeting from last month. Do we have any comments on the minutes?
The only thing I noticed on the minutes that we left off a couple of people, Bernadette and Jamie Goodman, that were at the meeting.
They probably didn't sign in.
They probably didn't sign in. Is that something we need to correct, or is that okay?
We can absolutely correct that. We normally work off the sign-in sheet that we...
Yeah, and they didn't sign in.
Bernadette, and who else was it?
Jamie Goodman. But other than that...
One more time?
Bernadette McElroy and Jamie Goodman.
Okay, perfect.
And that's it.
Yeah. Thank you, Keith.
Other than that, everything else is okay.
Okay. All right. Do I have
a motion to approve the minutes?
Okay.
A second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right. Next thing is the comments from the public. Has anybody signed it?
And are you talking?
Oh,
Just us two.
okay. Tim Horner? Okay.
I want to go over 596 Fairway Oaks. If his drainage ditch isn't working correctly, does he call the municipal or Montgomery County to get that fixed?
Is it that ditch where we removed the tree?
Well, the
Or is it
water from
another
the
ditch?
street ditch is going through his backyard because the ditch is too shallow.
So the ditch out front of his house is too shallow?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's Montgomery County. The
Yes.
county is responsible for the ditches in the front. They go under the
You know,
culverts and all
is
that
it
under drives.
Is it a drainage ditch?
It's a drainage
Is it
ditch.
underground?
No. It's on top of the ground, but it gets real shallow at his backyard
Yeah, call
fence
Montgomery County,
line.
they'll bring
Oh,
drain
wait,
out.
so it's his backyard, not his front yard?
It's his front yard, but it gets shallow where he's a corner house.
Right?
So his fence line comes towards the street. And the water is
I'm very
exiting the
familiar
ditch.
with his yard, but
Yeah.
is it the fence that goes, okay, I'm gonna use this way or this way? This one goes to your house, this one goes to Fairway Oaks entrance.
Fairway Oaks.
The one that goes towards Fairway Oaks.
Right,
Okay.
that's the,
So the
The
ditch in the
damage
front
it's
of his
creating.
house. Okay,
but the ditch in front of his house
okay,
is shallow where
that's the
that
county.
fence comes to it.
Yeah, that's the
So all
county.
that water is running through his backyard, which found the
Sinkhole.
sinkhole.
Right.
And as the water progressively eats away back,
Yeah,
so he and I decided that we could put a berm on top to keep the water from going that way. But I'm thinking the county needs to widen that ditch
all
or
you
do
gotta do,
something.
all he's gotta do is call the county, and I will tell you, I called them to come out and do mine, and they were out within a week.
So you just call the county and say,
Call
this is what I
precinct
want,
2.
and they get you to the right person?
Yeah, call precinct 2 and
Okay.
tell him you need your ditch dug out and that, and they'll come out and do it.
And that's the
Okay.
lady that answers will usually do it for you.
Yeah.
And then if it also involves 700, Stonewall Jackson,
They'll
That
go,
gentleman
well, they
will
have to
have
get
to-
permission from the property owners, because if they damage anything, this is what the lady told me, I'm not talking as a board president, I'm talking as a homeowner. If they damage anything, then it's the homeowner's responsibility, so that's why they have to have
both
the
of them
homeowners.
have to call him.
Correct,
Okay.
correct.
And I think that would keep it from reforming once the
Okay.
hole is plugged.
Okay. Well, and now Taylor's on here, I see. So, Taylor, this is the one where he's talking about the backyard is where we took out that huge pine tree. where it's, I don't know if you've seen, I think I sent you, did I send you the video where that water was just
Yeah.
running through there?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you sent me a video.
Yeah,
of it.
so unfortunately, I think he's gonna be second on the list, because we got another one that's a bigger problem, but I honestly think that needs to be addressed after Stone Mountain.
Yeah, I agree, and that'll give us a chance to get the actual contractor in place, because we're kind of doing stuff now on an emergency basis because of the conflict with the garage versus this one that's a conflict with the fence.
Right.
I completely understand the concern, but we have a contract that's being awarded tonight, and we're pushing as hard as fast to get on that as soon
Right.
as possible.
Yeah, okay. So if we can just, so he'll be,
Yeah, either extra dirt there is gonna help keep water from washing away more.
you know,
And the
I
county
think we gotta
coming
put a
through.
storm sewer line in. Isn't it a collapsed storm sewer line?
I think that's what it is.
Yes, at the end of the day, what will happen is your storm sewer will be replaced, and
Yeah.
we'll put sod over the top of it, grass will come back and everything like that. So any ground that's lost from erosion and things like that will be completely fixed, to the extent of the damage. We'll take care of it to your satisfaction.
And then we'll come back and
And
we'll
we'll
fix that
take care of
fence.
the front yard.
You'll take, yeah, he'll have to take care of the front yard. We're
Okay.
only doing that. That
Now,
portion.
y'all had a truck out there trying to clean that out. And I
Today?
told them, I said, you're not gonna get any further because it's collapsed back there. And he
Yeah.
said, yeah.
Yeah, they've been working today and yesterday. They've been working all week actually, so, okay.
Okay,
right.
that's good.
And while you're done, I just want to say thank you to Tim and Denise Horner. They came out and they power washed the whole sidewalk, stairs, parking lot of the MUD building for us the other day.
Much nicer.
So thank you.
Good, yeah,
Yeah,
thank
thank
you.
you.
That was Denise. She wanted to do that for 3 years now.
She did a lot. She was out there herself doing a lot.
Well, thank you. We appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
So, all right, Dee?
Okay, yeah, if you don't mind, I'm gonna read it because Tom's gonna say I only have 3 minutes, so I think I can do it
Okay.
faster.
All right.
Talking about this plant, the problem is none of you know enough about it because you haven't been here long enough.
Plant
So-
number 3?
Yeah, so
Oh.
I'm gonna give you the history.
Okay.
Now, I'm going back to 1994. Now, this is the year that the MUD decided to add well number 3. Because the Texas National Resource Conservation Committee was gonna place a moratorium on future wells because of the subsidence in Houston and coming up to the woodlands. So they got that in there. So the well started in 1995. The well was up there until 2008, just taking care of business. We didn't have anything else up there but that. But in 2008, this water treatment plant, 500,000 gallon storage, 25,000 gallon pressure tank, pumps, electrical building, chlorine building, generator, upgraded electrical, fencing, and landscaping, presumably for the property across the freeway. But nowhere in these contracts is the line from there to their property. So.
Was there no, well number 2 didn't flood during 2006 flood?
It might have, but we have an interconnect. You know, we've had this with these plantations, we don't need extra. So we have a plant, and again, I'm not talking about the well has been there forever. So, we have spent now $75,000 on the electrical building. We're gonna spend $150,000 to $200,000 to repaint the tank, which is already 15 years old. And the pumps, we're short cycling 24/7 for probably 2 months, which cuts down the life of the pumps. Now, how much have we spent fixing this up in the last 15 years? That 25,000 pressure tank, that was gushing water. And I called Richard, because I can see it from the bedroom. So he got that fixed. Now, it costs MUD over $1 million to pay for the park. Now, why? Because it had utilities. It has water and sewer. It's developable. In real estate, those are the important utilities. Now, having water saves the developer about $1 million. Now, I have to remind everybody, the residents don't own the golf course. If Chrysler decides to sell, what will that cost the MUD? Because the residents aren't going to want development. They're going to want the MUD to buy it and make it a park. So we got 2 numbers. Is that going to be 2, 3, or 4 million? And then we're gonna have another bond election. If you look at all that, this plant was put up the same time the club was purchased. And this was, we have all kind of crap in the files. I mean, I got all this from your files. And so it was, we really got screwed on that. So we really should be dismantling it, selling it, and getting the money back. Because we don't need to have doubled our capacity for a community that has been built out since the 90s.
Very good. We will all take it under consideration.
And I will question you next month. If you have any objections, I have the answers.
You have, I was gonna say, you have 3 minutes, so, okay. All right, that it from the public?
That's it.
All right, operators report.
All right, should have a copy of our report there in front of you for the month of April.
Oh, Carol, I'm sorry, Keith, can I do Carol first? I'm sorry.
Okay.
Huh? Yeah, how about those? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, okay.
Sorry, Keith.
So everyone should have a budget report. Look at your cover page for your spotlight. This month's spotlight is highlighting your district stats and the stats of surrounding neighboring districts. If you look to page 5 for your operating cash flow, reporting checks 23,642, 23,643, 23,688 through 23,721. Your total disbursements were $111,875.37, leaving the account balance of $7,220.58. That is followed by your online account, also referred to as the operator account. You have your total receipts of $62,076.12 after wire transfers, leaves a balance of $1,460.23.
On page 9, I think it is, right view line, let's say 23,710. 23,710, check number, I guess.
Oh. 23,710 to Brightview.
23,710.
They,
Is that for 1 month?
yeah,
I was gonna
that's
ask
what
the
it
same
is.
thing.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's 77.
Okay.
That's what two mows a month,
Okay.
supposedly.
Now, do we pay them
Except
after
for
they've
about
done
1
it or
month.
prior to them doing it? Is this a,
Oh, yeah,
I
what
think
month
it's-
bill is this? Because we have a question about it.
This check should be there.
It's a
Check
check
23,710?
23,710. If I remember correctly, it's after.
Look at that, right on top. Divine
Magician.
intervention for May. So it's
For May?
June. So we're a month, no, wait a minute, for May, so they're billing a month ahead. Ooh, okay. We're gonna hold on to this one.
Yeah.
We're gonna hold on to that one for a minute till we
Okay.
discuss it.
So do they list the dates of those?
We're gonna discuss it.
May is done, right? I did it 2 times.
Okay, so
When did they do
page,
that 2 times?
I saw 1 time.
I saw once.
I saw half.
Yeah.
I saw a half, and I saw 1 whole.
Right, sorry.
okay.
Thank you for bringing that up, Carl. So, because we were gonna
Yeah,
discuss it
we're gonna
later, but
discuss it.
we needed to look at that invoice.
So if you want, leave it here.
Yeah, because we're gonna discuss it,
Okay.
so.
Okay, so page 8 is your tax deposit, total receipts, which also includes a $7,000 wire into the account. Total receipts of $18,633.70, then wires out of the account totaling $22,000, leaving a balance of $113,079.42. The next 4 pages or 3 pages are your outs versus budget comparison. Let me know if you have any questions.
No, but can you tell me which page has the collections from the tax? I had questions on it and I can't.
Oh, the tax from the tax?
Yeah. Is
Okay,
it further
for your
back?
revenue,
Is that a
look on
separate
page
thing?
9, your maintenance tax
Oh.
collections.
Okay.
So total to date, and this is just the general maintenance and operations tax collections, $530,142 recorded as of the end of April. You see that on page 9?
Yeah, I know it's in here somewhere, but I can't find it, but I had a question. Seriously, this year's property taxes were double what last year's were? That was my question.
Notice that.
The property values.
Yeah.
That's
But I don't believe,
That's because our tax rate is the lowest of all the ones on the spotlight.
Well, I know, but.
Yeah, but all the property taxes went way up, everybody in Montgomery County paid
Yeah.
for them.
Property values went up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it has to be, that's what it has to be.
yeah. I just didn't realize it
I
was
didn't think it'd be
that
that
kind
much.
of, I didn't either. That's why.
Have you seen people complaining on next door?
Yeah. Yeah, most of them live in
I
the
think
city of
it's-
Conroe.
I think it's two things. Remember the bond issuance, we have
Right.
debt service
Yep.
right now, right? And so your tax rate went up from
Yeah,
31.6 cents to 52 cents. And I think you also had some appreciation in property values as well.
A lot.
So, yeah. So on
Now they're
the,
giving it back.
Yeah, that's right.
Like saying they are.
Yeah.
on the cash flow, tax report, tax deposit account, I don't have numbers on the electronic version, I don't have page numbers, but, cash flow report, tax deposit account.
okay, tax deposit account, that's followed by your actual versus budget comparison.
Yep, so on that one, right, it has transfer from CPF checking account on receipts, and then on disbursements, it has transfer to,
The funds were accidentally sent, so for transparency's sake, we have to report the wire. So the funds were accidentally transferred to the wrong CPF, to the CPF account, so the CPF account transferred it back.
so it's just a
It's
correcting
just-
an error.
Yeah, yeah.
Great,
But again, for transparency,
Sure.
we have to report it.
okay.
Anything regarding the actual versus budget?
Yeah, the number 16209, wastewater service, landscape service, wastewater.
Right, I think that's the right,
is that part of mowing?
that's part of the, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, is that why
But
that's
that's
zero?
gonna be, let's see,
Yeah.
16209, 16109,
So that falls under that.
Yeah, they're all one thing, yeah, because I don't think we had it broken out.
Why is it over budget? If we're expecting that much, why is it over budget?
Because she just, I'm assuming she did, because they broke it out by
Been
department.
folded into
Like this
something else.
one's under budget, okay? So I'm assuming, and I don't want to
Right,
speak
because-
for you.
Well, no, because, yeah, it's split into the new EBK report, so when they created this new chart of accounts, and they split the budget that the district approved, just how they broke it out.
If you go through and add them all up, they're probably under, they should be under budget.
Yeah, budget is
And
8,000 now.
Yeah.
Okay,
for both.
all right.
Yeah.
And of course, I'll take a look at it, I can take a look at it, just to make sure there's,
I do have a question, Carol. How come
Sure.
we're so far over budget on the bookkeeping?
I think it's just because of all the additional budget prep,
With bonds and
the
stuff like that.
bonds. Well, no, the bonds, that's all
part of
paid out of the bond,
Well, I mean, doing the accounting for all the bonds and the different
but
departments and
it's
things.
basically breaking everything out into the joint sewer treatment plant, the joint drainage, all the additional work that went into creating those separate budgets and the separate billings. I'm hoping we're gonna be able to, I think we have it, worked out, all the bugs worked out. I'm hoping to see those numbers coming down. It's just, it's been kind of,
That's more than double.
huh?
It's more than double what our budget is.
Yes, I know, I'm very much aware of it. So, I've been trying to have Mark do a lot of the legwork, I'm trying to keep out of it as much as possible, other than attending the meetings. But, you know, 'cause my rate is much higher, but
Right.
unfortunately, Mr. Rocky kind of needs a little bit more experience. I have a lot of years' experience.
That's fine.
this
We
year.
were just trying to figure out how to cut it down,
Right.
so.
As I said, I think we have the billing part, kind of all the kinks worked out of it,
Okay,
so I'm really hoping to see those numbers drop down.
okay,
So, I'm trying to monitor it, I sure
Okay.
will.
okay, cool.
Any other items you wanna, okay.
Are we to balance sheet yet?
What that, you're at the balance sheet, and that's just recording your assets, liabilities, and equity accounts.
Right, so on there, it has a, item 1101, cash in bank, and it has a negative amount. How can that be?
It just has to do with the date that something was recorded. It shouldn't be negative. It just has to do with, okay.
Timing.
The time, you know, this was recorded this report's at the end of April. So if he recorded a deposit that probably was dated, he probably recorded the date, the
May
deposit
1st.
date, you know, in May rather than in this April. It could cause it to, show negative. But it's just a recording, it's a date thing, just the date that he recorded a
Does that come from
deposit.
the bank?
No, that has
No.
nothing to do with the bank, no,
Okay.
the money was there, it's just how the report is generated from QuickBooks.
Okay.
And I'm sorry I didn't catch that one.
It's going to spell it under.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
That's why I missed it too, I couldn't see it.
It doesn't happen very often that it just does that. The only time we typically see that is with our little creation districts, they're always in the negative, so. Okay, so we'll look to page 15, your capital projects, cash flow, reporting checks 1020 through 1021, plus a wire out. That's that wire that actually came into the account and then just came out. So total disbursements were $65,808.09. Look to page 17, this is your joint sewer treatment plant. Reporting checks 1017 through 1023. Total disbursements were $26,435.60, leaving a balance of $5,612.20. And that's followed by the actual versus budget comparison for the STP.
We got a bank charge of 35 cents on there? What is that?
Oh,
I'm sure.
be glad it's not $40. And we typically see that. $20 to $40 a month regularly.
Oh, is that analysis charge?
I think so. I think First Financial kind of spreads it
I
out.
just thought that was
throughout
kind
the
of
year.
strange to see 35
But-
cents on
The charge if you're looking at your account.
Okay, so let's see, let's look to page 20. This is your joint drainage cash flow. Reporting check 1002 through 1007. Total disbursements were $295.25. and that's followed by its cash flow. And of course, for your joint sewer treatment plant and your joint drainage, those always balance out. That's just the revenue and expenses. It just pass through it down. Then if you look to page 23 for your debt schedule payments, the next debt payment due is September 1st, 2023. It is a principal and interest payment. Total amount due is $225,728.13. And page 25 through 26 is your account balances. With all funds being reported, the district has a grand total balance of $7,413,348.01. You also want to point out Texas class is now up to 5.2%.
That's
And
good.
we'll probably see that continue for a little while.
So this is showing the money market fund for the park. We have a total residual balance from that bond of $757.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Then following your account balances are your reports of your East Plantation billings. The first one is the billing out of the operating. The balance in that is at $3,441, and that is the August billing.
What is that?
That is still outstanding. And then that's followed by the sewer treatment plant and joint drainage billings.
So page, I think this is the 28th, accounts receivable,
Right, that's for the
or
EPUD, the joint sewer treatment plant.
So why are there debits and credits for everything? Is that money going in and coming back out?
No, it's,
Well, that's, right now, all you're saying is the debit, which is the actual billing. And the credit would be the payments, once those are received.
Okay. Okay.
So they still owe us for December of 2022?
Yes, but we have to take partial responsibility just because of the billing. I mean, when the district went to the third-party operator, Richard promised us, Preston Humphreys, that we would continue using his billing template, which we tried to do for a long time. However, with the new budgets and such, and trying to pull those accounts apart and creating new billing template, you're trying to use that billing template, it just was not doable. So we had to create new billing, and so unfortunately, again, more time. And again, that's part of the reason for some of the additional bookkeeping fees. And that's why I'm hoping we have all of that worked out. I'm hoping to see.
So we haven't been paid from January now, is that right?
and we still haven't been paid for August.
Right,
of last
which I have followed up on, again,
I
on
know,
that.
and he told me he mailed it, but I'm not checking that PO box because we're trying to get him to,
Well, and I'm trying to correspond with the bookkeeper, and I have not received a response
Right.
from her.
I'm trying to shut that PO box
Yeah, you
down.
better retrain them.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's going to be someone else with the board that I will need to communicate, go through, or if I can deal directly with her.
There'll be
But
other
again,
key
I don't-
officers tomorrow, I'm assuming.
Tomorrow there'll be 3 new officers.
Hmm?
That fast?
They're meeting tomorrow,
There'll be tomorrow.
But then again, I have not even received responses from her. So,
and they've got a whole new board, it looks like. Or at least three, majority of the board in place.
okay, so that is followed by your capital projects cost comparison. On page 30, you'll see total funds remaining for capital projects is $5,599,605.81, of which $5,347,022.99 are for related costs for projects. And that's followed by just the detail by bond series, the breakdown of those costs. On page 33, you will see the AWBD annual conference registration. Both Julie and Kim are registered to attend. And then lastly is your quarterly investment report. So on page 34, you'll see the cover page to your quarterly investment report. You'll see your investment officers and their training. And that's followed by just the breakdown of your investments in Texas Class accounts by fund. And on the last page, you'll see your pledged securities for your First Financial bank account. And that is your bookkeeper report.
Okay.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
I like that 5.2%.
I know. Oh, here it is.
Real money.
All right.
I'll make a motion, we accept the bookkeeper's report.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right. You got them all signed this time?
Tax report.
Here's all these.
Real quick.
Oh, yeah, I'm
Okay.
sorry,
Oh,
text
no,
me.
you're okay.
Sorry.
Well, this
I
will
just
be much-
found it, so.
This will be much quicker. Okay, so if you look at the cover page,
That one.
you're, in the month of April, the district received, for your 2022 tax, plus penalty and interest in prior years, total collections were $11,609.83. And if you look towards the top, your remaining balance to be collected is $94,859.09. On the last page of your report, you'll see the breakdown. The district is 93.19% collected for the 2022,
93.9.
93.19.
Okay. Okay. Back to my agenda. All right. Authorize payment of the district's bills. I need a motion to
We pay the bills as presented.
Okay, a second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right. All right, operators report.
All
Now
right,
it's your turn, Keith.
sounds good. Should have a copy of our report in front of you.
Not your report's a lot less.
That's right,
Yeah,
that's right. Try to make it quick.
that's because he's had a ton of work to do and, you know.
You didn't have time to write
He's just gonna tell us about it instead of writing it down.
That's exactly right, a whole lot easier. So got the report in front of you for April, show you 975 connections. 4 of those vacant received $62,162.36 in revenue. Beneath that, show your bill of consumption by user type. For the period ending April 19th, total gallons produced from your water plants, just over 7.5 million gallons accounted for, billed just under 7.4 million, accounting for 97% of the water. We had 3 leaks in the district. We took the 6 bacteriological samples as required for the TCEQ, and those results were good. Beneath that, your wastewater treatment plant operations, again for the month of April, show you at 66% of the permitted capacity, everything's in compliance there. Show 4.6, just under 5 inches of rainfall at the sewer plant for the month of April. Beneath that, no reuse still, and Carl, again, I think that's a continuation of needing to make some repairs to the pond.
I know the dam is leaking.
Water's there, whenever they're ready for it, we can send it to them, we'd be glad to. Beneath that's just the note where we summarize the number of users that have used between 30 to 50,000 gallons, in excess of 50 and in excess of 100.
Is that a commercial account?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Beneath that, some of your aid receivables, pretty good shape there. And then at the bottom's the graph showing your water accountability. Here before too long, we'll have 22 and 23 data month over month that you guys can kind of compare against. And then the following 2 pages is the DMR that was submitted on the district's behalf, again, for the calendar month of April to the TCEQ. As I've mentioned in months past, if you look at that third column in from the right, if you go down the list there, you'll see zeros, which is what we want to see. That indicates there's no violations and no exceedances, which is what we want to see. Outside of the written report, I did also pass out a document that looks like this, just by way of a reminder. This is your consumer confidence report. It's an annual item to your customers. July 1 of each year. I always like to remind you all that much of the document is really a function of a template from the TCEQ. The meat of the document really begins on page 3. And on page 2, we notate 4 wells. I'll get with our compliance folks. I think they're just picking up the manual, but I'll make the necessary change there. The meat of the document, like I said, begins on page 3. Again, I like to remind you that the sample year and the various contaminants that are sampled for, that's not something we decide, that's not something you decide. Again, that's a function of the state. They have a third-party lab that comes out, collects the samples, send it off to, they have a third-party contractor come out, collect the sample, they send it off to a third-party lab. We merely just collect the data from those results and use it to put together this document. Again, most important column there on the far right, you run down the list, there's no violations, so everyone's in compliance with the TCEQ standards. Following that is really just additional information related to various arsenic, lead, turbidity, secondary constituents, so on and so forth. So again, I think good report, nothing of note. Our ask from you all this evening is that you would approve this document, subject to any sort of final review and comment from your attorney. Again, it's due to your customers July 1. Many years ago, we used to mail hard copies of this document to everybody. The state has recently, within the last few years, they've allowed that we provide notice via just a bill insert. Within that insert, we provide a URL that has a direct link to the document that would be hosted on our website or your website, and that obviously saves us some time and you all some money. There's some canned language in that insert, so when you see it, don't be overly alarmed. It talks about we detected so many contaminants, and again, that's not our language. But again, our ask would be that you would approve it, subject to any sort of final review from David to his shop, Paul, and then we'll get it teed up to go out prior to July 1.
So how do you just disperse it now?
So there's we call it a glove slip. Essentially, there's a third of a page little insert that's included in the water bill. Yes, sir.
Should we put that on our website as well?
Well, that's
Yes,
that
we will.
question, because the last one on there is only from 2020. We don't have 2021 on the website.
Do you do that, or do we do that?
Once I got the document in final form and I get blessings from everybody, I'll email. I can't remember the name of the website. Monty, yeah. I'll email him just a copy. It'll also be on our website. So, I'm happy to pass it on to you.
Do I have a motion to approve it?
I make a motion to approve this quality report pending the attorney's approval.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Also, before we're done with him, I don't know who it was that spent the night up there during that flood, but I want to thank them because I wouldn't have done it.
What do you
So-
mean? Young man named Tristan.
Tristan, okay. I'll tell him we appreciate him.
He said up on top of the hill and started a little fire.
I don't know what he did, but we stayed there because he couldn't get out until the next morning because he had to wait and get somebody to give him a weight so he could get out.
Was it that deep?
It was.
It was.
The game was,
I never saw it get past the entrance.
Oh, yeah, it did.
I think.
It went past there.
Now, ask a question on the operation when that flood was there. I could see sewer drain covers underwater. What happens to all that?
Well, I'll tell you, in the perfect world, sanitary sewer flows from the plant ought to be the same dry to wet. We don't live in a perfect world, so I guess I'm getting to the point that obviously, in the industry we call it infill and infiltration. And so when you have storm water that begins to enter into the sanitary sewer system, right, that places an added burden on the sanitary sewer lines and also the facility. I mean, it's got to process that much more water. The solution is there's inflow preventers, which are essentially little discs that sit just beneath the cast iron lid that prevent the ability for storm water to enter into the sanitary sewer system. I mean, as part of, I mean, there's lots in process related to sanitary sewer rehab. And so, I mean, that's low-hanging fruit. There's also, you know, other issues related to the sanitary sewer system that we're all actively working on. And Taylor is much more involved in that than I, but yes, that's a real issue. And again, kind of the low-hanging fix is, the low-hanging fruit on that is just there's a plastic disc that you throw in the manhole, and it certainly reduces the amount of stormwater that's able to enter the sanitary system.
That's it.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, and we had no flooding, so I'm going to assume it was because we had enough water getting out at the beginning because that ditch was cleared. So, I'm gonna
We
assume.
can claim that, but I
There
don't
was
think
plenty of water going out, so.
But the water came back in.
Yeah,
we
but
can claim that
at
if we
least it
want.
was able to get out before more came back in.
It was almost empty before it came back in.
But it doesn't matter, it's gonna go to the level of the
Well,
river.
that's true, but yeah, so. Okay. All right. You finished, Keith?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Motion to accept the
We did
operator's
that.
report?
We did.
Oh, did we? Okay, sorry. Engineers report, your turn, Taylor.
All right, guys. Thanks for letting me join my teams. I hope like everybody can hear me.
Yes.
Yep.
Can't see you.
To report on the wastewater permit renewal, that's been submitted. We've gone through some iterations. We're trying to straighten out some stuff with the actual permit for the reuse system for the golf course. So that is taking a little bit of time. For the design projects, we have nothing really to report on the joint projects. We're still waiting for East Plantation to approve kind of moving forward with that wastewater treatment facility, which we're probably gonna have to revisit now that they've got the new board elected. So looking forward to working with those guys. Moving on to the district projects, the electrical upgrades for water plant number 2. We're requesting authorization to advertise the bid. We're almost done with those plans. Storm sewer phase 1, we received 3 bids. AR Turnkey Construction Company was the low bidder at $1,216,747. Attached is our recommendation of award and the bid tab. We worked with these guys before. They're ready to get on the project, and so we're just trying to push forward. I don't have the contracts for tonight, but I would request that prior to us getting the contracts back, that you guys approve moving forward with those contracts with blessing from the attorney on the bonds and insurance. That way, Julie can sign them immediately when we get back to the contractor, and we can move as fast as possible.
Is that bond money?
There is
Okay.
the third item. What's that?
So this will be finally starting to take care of some of the collapsed pipes and all that in there, right?
Yes. This has all the sinkholes, a lot of the major issues with the storm sewer. Is what we're trying to address, and so that's what we're going after. The third item is a district-wide drainage study. I've attached a proposal. It's a pretty long written-out explanation from our H&H team, and it will kind of show the first phase of a drainage study is to figure out all of the existing conditions and how the water is reacting in depth. And then the next phase is to kind of start putting our brains together. Once we know how the water is reacting, we can start looking at ways to improve the system potentially. So this first phase is to study the system and give us a better look so that we understand when new development comes in and how everything's acting. This is not just a picture of y'all's district, it's also looking at all of the existing modeling that they've done along San Jacinto River and things like that, and kind of putting it all together so that you guys have a drainage study for your specific area and the impact of outside areas on your district. Moving on to construction projects, I think you guys, Billy mentioned you guys have seen ProPipe out. They're still working on fixing kind of their mess up and missing information that we're hounding them on. And just to note, you guys have not paid them anything for those first phases, so they're still trying to correct the process. Sanitary sewer phase 1, you've seen Texas Pride out. They're CIP feeding a line and moving quickly, which is good. It comes to storm sinkhole construction is substantially complete. I went out Monday. It looks like the grass is growing well there, so I do recommend the application number 1 final in the amount of $5,572. And Tim, hopefully you're happy with it, and everything kind of turned out that you guys hoped it would.
It's good.
The last thing is questions prior from last meeting. Charleston Park Irrigation, they reached out to us. They figured out kind of where everything is, kind of the layout of the land. What they're requesting is that we get MOC to install 2 meters along it so that they can tie in the water line and start to power it up, so they really can get another proposal to fix everything. So that'll be the next step in that process. And I think that should be an easy thing for Keith and his guys to do, to install those 2-inch meters to get it operational, to see what is actually broken, now that they found all the equipment. The only other things I have is we briefly talked about the Fairway Estates, the sinkhole issue there, and then the Stone Mountain issue. We do have the contractor who did the Gunston Road and the other Stone Mountain, he's going out to take a look at it, but to get I would request that you guys give Julie or somebody, or Julie and Tim, the ability to approve that moving forward, so that we don't have to wait for the next meeting to approve any proposals that come about.
Because just to let you know, on Stone Mountain, we have a garage that's about to be compromised with a,
It's urgent.
Yeah.
Yes, and I've drafted the 2 license agreements
Okay.
for that, so we can get in there with a document behind it.
yeah. I don't want to pay to have a garage rebuilt.
So do we need to go ahead and make a motion now that you and Tim approve that amount when it comes in?
Yeah, we can in a
Okay.
minute when we do the other ones, so, okay. Go ahead, Taylor. Did we lose him?
What's that? Sorry.
Taylor,
Oh.
can we, yeah, they're ready?
Go ahead. Do you have something else?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's all I have for you guys. I know, just to mention, I know Keith did mention it, but we're looking into a sinkhole issue on the sanitary manholes, and another issue on Braxton Bragg. We did look at the existing videos and saw that there is an offset along there.
So, with the east ditch, I know this is dragging on, and I know all the reasons, but there are some huge holes next to the concrete now.
Yeah, I'm sure some of it's already gone.
Yeah, and especially after the last flooding. I mean, it's dangerous. I mean, easily a small kid could fall in where you can't see them. That's how big they are now, and it's high grass. And I was wondering if we need to do something about that while we wait for the ditch to be fixed, rather than just leave it, because kids do walk along there.
They do
and
all
it's-
the time.
Yeah, you know, it's right across from your house.
Yeah, that's right there.
So have we gotten any word from the Army Corps or anything about what we can do going forward with this, Taylor?
So as far as Army Corps,
Or I'm sorry,
there's
FEMA.
There's no special.
Sorry, FEMA.
Yes, and so as far as FEMA goes, I mean, we're in month 4 of probably a 6-month process. And, you know, I'd love to fix it, you just have to understand, and full disclosure, I don't know what the reimbursability will be like if we move sooner rather than later. And then, you know, obviously, you're gonna have to upfront those costs out of the district. Again, I completely understand the urgency of the issue. I just kind of, you know, I'm at a loss of how to proceed with the pending FEMA money.
And the short term, should we put one of those orange fence things around it?
I think there's so many of them.
Kids, well,
Well, they were
one
down
of the
here
ones-
during the flood.
yeah, the
playing.
kids were playing they go out late at night, they go out, also golf carts go down
Yeah,
late
it's
at night.
It's a walking area
Yeah.
along the ditch, and the holes are huge, the grass isn't cut, so.
Well, can we put one of those orange barrier things up?
It would have to be a very long one. It would be several hundred yards long.
Could we maybe just put
Yeah, I don't think
signs or
it's really
something,
gonna
or
work.
was it gonna be?
Do we block that pathway or something?
Put dirt in it, but it's gonna be a lot of dirt in it, and it's truckloads and truckloads of dirt it's gonna take.
I mean, I was just about to say you can put dirt into it. The problem is you get another rainstorm and it starts to wash it out.
It's gonna be gone,
Yeah.
yes.
One rainstorm could
It does.
wash it out, everything you put in.
But I mean, I walked over there this morning to look at it, and I almost fell in a hole because you can't see
Is
it.
it possible to close that area? Close it to traffic?
You walk there every morning, don't you?
Now, is this the area along the golf course,
Yeah.
right next to the driving range?
No,
No.
no, this is by number 6, the
Okay,
other
so-
side of the ditch.
Okay,
Where
so
we
it's
say
Okay.
link.
Gotcha.
It's on a live golf
Yeah.
course.
Near Stonewall
No, no.
Jackson,
kind of across the
Ah.
street.
and there's an empty lot right there,
Oh,
so
like
it's,
right
it's,
over here?
Well, won't that be addressed in this proposal you have here today? Isn't that part of what you're fixing?
That,
No.
no, I'm not fixing anything with that proposal. We're just completely analyzing how.
Kind of right across
the
Are you talking about
drainage
drainage
and
study?
everything.
yeah.
Yeah, the storm drainage, he has, yeah.
yeah.
This,
That
the
1.2
bottom,
million,
there's, no, that's not fixing that ditch.
Oh, sorry.
This
no,
is
the
the
1.2
east
million
ditch.
is just
well,
in storm
that's
sewers.
number 6, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
That's what, I thought that's what this was.
No, this
Yes,
is
I'm
not
good.
the ditch. This has nothing to do with the
I'm
ditch.
not talking
This
about the
is-
east ditch, I'm talking about the golf course.
Okay, then I'm
It's just-
confused.
I think it's, I thought this was.
It was the east ditch. It is the east ditch, and it's across the street from me.
It doesn't go, that 6 doesn't go there.
Yeah, it's, oh, that's the
Number
6, right there.
The ditch crosses number 6, and then it runs along the green. And right there where it's along the green, there are huge holes.
Huge.
Okay.
And the kids that used to live across the street from me now live across on the other side.
Yeah. But but they're not the only kids.
No.
I
You
guess what
wanna-
we can do then is try to find a solution, a temporary solution, and I hate to spend too much money on that.
I mean, if we do want to try to, I mean, it sounds like it's a hundreds of yards of fence, but I mean, just know, if that is something that y'all would like us to look into, we're happy to.
I can show
We
you.
can get construction fencing up if that's the solution.
I think that would,
Wait.
I think that would be a good idea.
What I was gonna say with that,
Protect us, our liability. Yeah.
Reason, we
It's
gotta do
dangerous.
something reasonable to protect ourselves,
yeah,
It's a
There
fence.
is an
especially
actual,
since we know it's
I don't know
there.
if you've ever seen it, there's an old man that walks there. He comes from up my
Can you
street.
look at it and give us an
He looks
idea
like
what
he's
you
in his
think can be
eighties,
done?
can barely
have
walk, he has
Mario
a
get
cane,
a
and he
call,
always
find
goes
out
down
where
in
it's
there.
at, cause I'm not
And he
quite
looks
sure
for
where it's
stuff,
at.
and he
Yeah.
finds
Well,
stuff.
Yeah, but
Well, I
find
kinda
out
know
when it
it.
comes back,
Yeah.
then
Why
we'll
not
find
say
out.
Fencing
I
and
just
maybe
noticed
some
him
signage.
Show,
Yeah.
he walks so slow. He's in his eighties.
Well, let's get the
Well, I
fence up at least.
I make a
Yeah.
motion that we, let MOC install some orange fencing for the length of the area that's affected and put up some signage.
A second?
All in favor?
Can I modify it just a little? Let him see if he can find a better solution or more cost-effective solution, but do one or the other.
That's
the
I
best
can't
that
see a
you
better
can do.
solution than
No.
I don't know if
That's
there is or
pretty
not,
cheap.
that's where I
Yeah.
started, so.
That fence is pretty cheap, right?
Can you get with Mario and show him where it's at, we're talking about?
All right, so we got a
He'll,
vote.
he'll contact me,
All
right?
right, so,
We'll get in touch with you.
I met him the other day.
okay. Okay, can we do them all at once?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Taylor, are you done or is that it?
That's all I have.
That's all, that's not
the
enough?
same thing.
Oh, are you done or you got more? Sorry.
I got a question.
I was really hoping there wasn't more numbers
Good
coming, or more money coming. Yeah.
I got a question on what they're asking on the irrigation thing, putting in 2 meters. Where are they gonna flow from? Because well 1 can't provide it right now. It doesn't have a
Well,
pump.
they're just gonna be taps into the water line that runs down River Plantation and in the area, so we're gonna just tap into the existing water lines, because it'll be potable water, and, we'll pressurize the line so we can see where
We
it's
just
running.
have to tie into our current supply line somewhere?
Yeah, including
And
number
then when we
3.
get one up, we can,
Yeah.
let me ask you another question, and if we're gonna do that and be pumping our system into it, should we not have a shut-off from the affluent system on our side of the property? Right now, the only shut-off is on the country club side, so they can turn it on or off anytime they want. And if we're putting fresh water in it and they turn it on, isn't ours gonna feed back that way?
Backflow. Backflow.
Yeah, wanna go?
No, I mean, it's disconnected, according to the irrigation guy, it's disconnected from the country club.
No, it's not. We can turn, we turned on the affluent thing on the country club side a couple of months ago, and we had water all over the place up around, behind the clubhouse and on some of the different sprinkler heads. So I think we need to put a shut off on that line in there so that it can't be turned on. In other words, both of them be turned on before it could flow.
When was that done?
When Jamie and I and some people tested to see if we could find some of the heads, we went up there, we turned it on, and the affluent water came through, and it came up on number 9, Charleston, it came up on 1. We had water coming up in different places. Matter of fact, it came up clear down by the country club. The affluent water did, so I
I
know
would
it
just
can be
recommend
turned on.
having the MOC cut and plug it, so that we don't have to worry about that issue.
That's what I'm saying, I think that needs to be somehow cut loose, so it can't be turned back on. I don't wanna feed good fresh water back into it.
I like the idea of a valve on our side.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, I agree with Val.
So,
Make a motion,
I'll
Tom.
get with Keith and we'll make that happen.
Yep.
Okay.
Make a motion, Tom.
I'll make a motion that we disconnect the affluent from the Charleston side or our irrigation before we put the pump meters in.
I second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
If you need help knowing where it's at, I'll be glad to show you.
I'll give it.
Okay, so I need a motion authorizing Tim and/or I to sign the contracts when we get them for Stone Mountain. Are we gonna put Fairway in that one? Fairway Oaks in that one? Or are we gonna wait on that one until next month?
The Fairway Oak stuff is not gonna be within that one.
Okay.
It's gonna be part of the contract,
Okay.
for the repair.
Okay, all right, so
Right.
authorizing us to sign the contracts for Stone Mountain for, the sewer
I'll make a
rehab.
motion in an emergency situation, you or Tim can go ahead and proceed with those projects without a full meeting.
Okay, but this isn't, the sanitary sewer
I
rehab isn't an
understand, this is
emergency.
fixing the emergency, that's
Okay.
why I said,
Got it,
an emergency situation.
okay,
I second it.
okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Can we,
I
so,
gotta abstain since I'm one of the people that can
oh,
sign
okay, yeah, I probably should too, so, all right, anyway, okay. All right, so do we need to make one on sanitary sewer since it's not an emergency? Or
If you're-
does that cover it?
Well, if you're approving, I would do that as a separate one, yes.
Okay, all right, so do I have a motion to authorize one of us to sign the contract for the sanitary sewer rehab work with AR Turnkey?
Is that 1 million too?
Yeah.
Why can't we just go ahead and approve it? What's the problem with that?
Because we don't have a contract.
That's the storm sewer.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
well, you're approving
storm
the
sewer, sorry.
recommendation of award
Right,
and authorizing the contract for when the attorney reviews and approves the bonds and insurance.
Right.
Davis will doctor all the motions up to be correct.
That's how we normally do it. At this point, we were just authorizing award of the contract.
right, okay.
So we'll make a motion to award the contract to AR Turnkey for the amount of $1,216,747.50.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now, get some trucks out there, let's go.
Yeah, okay, all right,
I'll make a motion, we accept the engineer's report.
Second.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, all right, contracts,
Does that include moving forward with the drainage proposal, guys?
yes, do we need another one with that?
We got the meters covered,
I
right?
think it
You're gonna be able to
probably
do those?
comes later for the drainage study.
All right, do we need another motion for the drainage study?
I think
Let me say that you've approved all of the other projects individually, so I think it might be a good idea to
Okay,
handle this one this way.
all right, so do I have a motion to approve the drainage study?
I'll make a motion, we approve the drainage study.
Okay,
I second.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, we good, Taylor?
I think that's it, guys. I'm
Okay.
gonna jump off if you don't mind.
Okay.
wireless service.
Take care.
Thank you, Taylor.
Thanks, Taylor.
Sure.
Okay. Contracts for mowing and maintenance in the park facilities.
We've had real poor service from Brightview, especially recently. And so I went out and I solicited bids for the 77 acres as well as the ditch work that needs to be done, the well areas, all of the existing facilities, the park facilities that need to be done. We've got 3 bids, very widely scattered price points, but we do have we have one that's very similar to Brightview's current number. We have one that's significantly less than that, and we have one that is so far north of either one of them that I'm afraid to even bring it up. But we do have 3 bids, and I'm asking, and I've spoken to Davis, I'm asking that we go ahead and put in a separation letter with Brightview. We have to give them 90 days notice unless they choose to back off of it and go ahead and get rid of us, because that seems to be the attitude they've had when it comes to cutting our grass lately. But we're going to give them a 90-day notice, and then we need to review the 3 bids that we've got.
All right, can I ask a question to either one of you guys? Whoever feels comfortable stepping. Since our contract is that they mow twice a month, and the first time they came out this month, they mowed 1 hole. The second time they came out this month, they mowed, what do you say, half of it?
6 or 7 holes.
Yeah, 6 or 7 holes, okay?
With significant lack of.
Yeah, do I have to pay this bill in full?
You should not pay a bill for work that was not completed.
Right.
If the work was not completed, you should not pay the bill. It sounds like some work was completed, and you certainly should pay for work that was completed. But I think it sounds like we need to have a sit down with Brightview and go over what's been done and what hasn't been done, and make sure we're all on the same page, because there's no question you shouldn't pay for work that hasn't been completed. If Brightview isn't able to perform under the contract, I think the goal is to get it terminated as quickly as possible. The 90-day provision is a no-fault termination.
Right.
The problem with these types of contracts is there's always a cure period. There's an opportunity for the contractor to fix it, and when you have an underperforming contractor like this, it can be, it can be difficult to get them out there to do a perfect job. And so, I think it would be a good idea for us to try and get something together with Brightview, to talk about the path forward, because it sure does sound like, from my conversation with Tim, that they may, no longer be interested in the work, or able to complete the work at the price that they bid, and want out of the contract, which I think would be it sounds like a win-win based on the pricing that we've seen, particularly from All Seasons, assuming they're a qualified contractor. So
I think they're having a manpower problem.
That's what I'm
See,
saying.
they're working over by Lowe's and St. Luke's and doing a good job over there, but they're just ignoring it over here. So I think they just have a manpower
That's
problem.
what I think.
It's their contract to lose, as far as I'm concerned.
But that doesn't need to be cut twice a month. From what I see, that grass doesn't grow. Last
During
year,
the summer it does, because it looks terrible right now. On the parts that haven't been mowed, it looks terrible.
We've got dandelions and
All
Dallas
of
grass.
them are
Yeah,
starting
you
to
gotta
get
keep
like
that
that.
under control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that bill can just be resolved as part of this process.
Okay.
And I think they need to just be brought to the table and say, look, explain how yours should be paid
Sure.
a full amount when you didn't do a full amount.
Well, if you can get them to come to the table, because I tried to set up a meeting with them, and the guy told me, well, it'd have to be before 2 o'clock.
Well,
And then he would never get back, it took him 5 days to get back with us.
And I called him yesterday and he hasn't called me back, so.
Yeah,
Oh, the only person I know is the one that sells them.
he's not there anymore.
Yeah, he's there. But not,
We've had
nobody's asked me to talk to him.
We've
so-
had, what, 3 different
Three
account
different account
managers?
managers.
But the cement, you know, the operational people that's dropping the ball, he's not even involved in the day-to-day thing.
Right.
I can get him involved, but I don't think,
No, I honestly, at this point, I don't think it needs to be an account manager or a salesperson. I think it needs to be somebody in authority,
I don't have a problem.
because they're
If
fixing
you
to
want,
lose.
I'll drop a bug in his ear.
Because
Don't
at this
have a problem.
point, I think they've voided their contract.
You didn't listen.
I listened to you. I
Okay.
heard what you said.
How can
Every
you listen
word.
and talk?
Because I'm a woman.
Yeah,
to do that.
yeah,
Ask any other woman in here.
that's right.
You have a husband and kids,
That's
trust me.
When you're doing your own thing, and you're like, hey, knock it off.
Oh,
Sorry, I heard you.
I think we need to, review the 3 opportunities that we got, because regardless, whether we're gonna find somebody else, whether it's 90 days from now, or 30 days from now, or next week.
Right.
I
Well,
think
why
we-
don't you show us who you got? Talk to us about that.
You got it in your,
I thought he
you got an
emailed it
email.
to us.
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
Today?
Today. No, yesterday. Today or yesterday? I think it was yesterday.
Yesterday, I sent out the 3 proposals, we got the last proposal, late on Friday, and, yesterday, I sent out the 3 proposals and the notice
That's
of
right, one of them
termination.
was
Friday.
Wesco, right?
Yes, one of them was Wesco, one of them is All Seasons, and one of them is,
Okay, yeah, I did see those, I'm sorry.
I'm just now looking
I
at
had
it.
a
I can't
woman
remember
over
the
there
third one
messing me
now that I
up.
say that.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
Okay, I'm trying to find it on here, I don't see it.
All Seasons is,
All Seasons is roughly $54,000
Oh, that was
for the year.
I have a question. You and I talked about the other part, the vegetation part of the drain, the east ditch. Did you get a chance to address that with them?
I have not, but
Yeah.
that shouldn't be a huge addition
No, it
to the
shouldn't.
bid.
It shouldn't be a whole lot of anything. Really, it's maybe less than half a day's work.
But isn't that the one they turned down?
Who?
And Taylor, isn't that the one that they turned down bidding on it with Taylor?
No, that was the third guy, because the water was already coming up in the creek. The areas he's talking about,
Yeah,
I didn't show anybody,
Oh,
because I
okay.
wasn't aware that those were areas that we needed to cover.
okay,
But they're small areas, they're
Yeah.
not big.
And
okay.
it's that
So-
utility easement.
It's the
goes
utility
across
easement,
Stonewood
and then
Jackson.
2 areas by his house.
Yeah, but
They're
they,
little ditches.
it's not that whole easement, it's just the ditch.
Okay, did you get that ditch on, off the River Plantation Drive?
Yes,
Okay.
The third company is Alpha.
Alpha,
Alpha.
that's right.
I didn't see that.
And Alpha is,
It's a
Do you,
word
do
document.
you have,
$100,000.
Alpha used to be in here and they did a
you have any
lousy job.
recommendations?
who?
Alpha used to be in
Yeah, well,
here.
they're not, they're way out of whack on their price.
Oh, good, thank you.
So is Wesco close to what?
Wesco's the lower one, no, wait, which one is it?
Wesco's about $74,000.
Okay.
Which is about what we're paying.
All
for.
Seasons is about 54, and, the other one, Alpha, is over
Do we know
$100,000.
anything about this all seasons or whatever?
I'll say no. I don't know anything about him. He's done work out in this area before. He knows,
Where's he from? Do you know?
Their trucks. They have a Houston.
they have a Houston address.
So,
I tell you what, I don't know them much, but from what I've seen Wesco do, I would be willing to look that direction
Well,
myself.
Wesco's, I mean, it would be,
Who
a-
does, who
for
did they
me,
do?
they're already
Huh?
doing
Who
the,
did they do?
They do
the
the
Wesco's doing
CIA.
the CIA already.
Wesco's doing the CIA.
And they're already out here doing it. It wouldn't be much more than to go ahead and finish.
Well, they just have almost double what they're doing.
Yeah.
Well, they probably have as much mowing as CIA does.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking $20,000 more. Is it worth it for the convenience of them? Oh, yeah.
It's grass, let's try an acre one, right?
I don't see it as convenience, I see it as somebody we know can get it done, or at least they've proven they can do it. I don't think we,
Are they doing 77 acres for the CIA?
they're doing quite a bit, and they seem to do
What
a lot of
are they
extras.
doing for the CIA?
They do the 10 or 12 feet on either side of the road.
Okay,
They do Tom Phillips Park. They do the flower beds up front.
okay.
They do
Park.
the sports park.
All the parks.
They do all the planting of the flowers that come in. But as far as cutting, they don't do 77 acres. You know, this would be,
Did they have any comments about that when you showed it to them?
oh no, they were very, very thorough and eager to participate in it.
How
I don't know,
about
I'm just gonna-
buglegraph?
Huh?
You know that easement on, like from your house, there's a buglegraph, right? Or bugle guard, that where Foxcroft is. That
From my
part.
house?
Yeah, there's a street, I think it's called Bugle,
Oh, Beauregard.
Bugle Guard. There's easements on there. I know in the past, we used to be cutting that.
We don't have any easements, so.
Oh, that's right, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The
I thought it's
CIA,
not ours.
the CIA.
So I'm gonna ask you,
Did you show the Mosswood drain?
Oh,
I
sorry.
couldn't do that. That was in the
Mosswood
original,
drain.
the ditch.
the ditch in Mosswood.
I told them that they needed to get closer to the ditch than what we were currently
Now,
getting.
there's, up by the golf course, or. no,
Oh, on the other side of the,
No,
on the other side of the ditch?
Yeah, and it goes.
Yes.
Goes down here and goes down behind Mosswood,
Yes.
and so they know they have to do that.
Not the ditch, but the grass that's there.
There's a ditch, big ditch, it has to be done at least once or
Quarterly?
twice a year.
Okay? We can make adjustments. I don't think that would be a huge
Well,
addition.
from what I've seen in the past, I mean, it seems like they're willing to work with the CIA. And
Well-
maybe with,
But is it worth $20,000 more to you?
I don't know the other people or what they can do. I know what
All
this one.
I mean-
Seasons, All Seasons has a 4.3 rating on Yelp with 11 reviews. It's got a 5 rating on Angie's List with 3 reviews. I mean, I think it's worth a try for that.
I mean, for
money.
20 grand.
And we can get a 30-day bailout on the contract.
Yeah.
We wouldn't do a 90-day.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
We make sure we had a
Yeah, if we
30-day.
can do something like that, that's my only concern. I know what one can do, I don't know anything about the
You,
other.
you can even set it up for a 6-month trial period or something,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
I would agree with something like that.
Yeah,
I
I would too.
Well, we're not approving any votes, right? Are we approving contracts?
It's on the agenda,
To approve a contract when we still have the other one in place?
Well,
We don't have a contract yet.
yeah, right, exactly.
Or, well,
With
to
all
approve going
seasons
forward,
To
yeah.
approve. So what it sounds like is we should reach out to All Seasons.
Right.
You know,
Now,
subject
All
to, and see if we can get a contract together for y'all to approve next month.
Right,
Because unless Brightview all of a sudden, you know, says, all right, we're willing to, you know, mutually terminate the agreement, you know, we're gonna be dealing with Brightview, I think for a couple more months, so.
Yeah, their contract's up, what, in June or July?
June, but it's
it
automatic renew.
automatically renews.
Mhm.
It automatically renews.
Not if you send them a letter, it doesn't.
30 days,
90.
90 days?
There's a 90-day notice of termination for the renewal period, Tom. And so we would have needed to terminate the contract back, approve the termination back at our February meeting in order to meet the schedule. And these, you know, I don't know that the issues with the mowing have been a topic of discussion until the grass has really started to grow
That's right.
lately. At least I wasn't hearing concerns back in, you know, January, which isn't unusual on a mowing contract, so.
Okay, so how do you want to proceed?
We just have to
I would like-
authorize
We
them to
definitely need to send them
proceed.
a letter.
I would like to terminate the contract for cause.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's right, and to address the billing issues, I think
Right.
you can wrap all that together.
I second your motion.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Cool.
Okay.
We're gonna keep you busy.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now, do we need to do something to
Can you,
institute a new contract with, All Seasons?
what I would suggest is, if we need to do a motion, I suggest you get a hold of them, tell them we're looking seriously at them, but there's a couple of adjustments we need to show them. Do they need to make any changes, or can they live with this? So you can show them the parts up there I showed you, you can review that mosswood ditch or whatever, to make sure that they see everything that we need done, and then set it up as a trial deal of some sort.
Good point.
You know, but you could do that while all this other's going on.
Yep. Okay.
So do we authorize
I move we,
Davis and, oh, go ahead.
I move we, go forward with, conversations with, what's the name of that company?
All Seasons.
All Seasons. Let Tim negotiate with them to see what they can do to put together a contract at our next meeting if needed.
Okay, all right. Do I have
Okay.
a second? A second.
I don't think we need a vote to do
Do
that.
that?
I'll
Okay.
just work on a contract with, and with Tim, and then we'll bring it back to you for approval
Got it.
next time if that worked.
Okay.
All right,
Great.
sounds good.
Okay.
Are we voting or what?
No,
No.
you just said, no.
Okay.
Okay, number 7, park signage. Okay, so, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
All yours.
Okay, park signage. We had, what this is regarding is there are 25 parking spots. I'm assuming this is what it's about, right? 25 parking spaces at the country, well, across from the country club, our 25 spaces by the pool, that since we entered into an agreement with the CIA to lease the pool from us, we want to put signage up on those parking spaces to make sure that they're available for the pool use, not the golfers. And it's better that we put them up because we actually have, I think, and this is for the attorneys to step in, we actually have
The lease.
the least, but things that we can do that they may or may not be able to enforce. Correct?
When you own the fee.
Well, and we can have them towed if they continue to park there.
I would suggest that we look at something like, say, get 10 or whatever, 10, 12 of those spaces and put signs and leave the others open. So
Why?
it's a share thing.
Why?
Because if we need to use some of their parking, we have to show some consideration both ways.
You think he's gonna let us
I
use
wouldn't
their
think-
I
parking?
know he's not if you don't give him a chance to use ours.
I agree with you, Tom.
I'm just saying, let's start being a friendly thing, saying,
And can
we
come
need
back
to
later.
reserve some spaces for the people that are swimming. I don't think you're gonna have more than 10 or 12 cars going to swim up there. When it was active before, people didn't even drive cars,
They
hardly
golf
there.
carts.
They was golf carts, most of them.
And the pool is only open 2.5 months. How are you gonna say no one can use it after that? Never, never? It's
That's
only
right.
2.5 months that the pool is active.
But, well, during the time, you can put a bag over their heads
Yeah.
over the rest
No,
of the
but
time.
work something out,
So-
just during pool season.
Yeah,
No, I wouldn't be like that with him. Well, I use the club.
yeah, I'm just
That's
saying,
mean
I'm
spirited.
saying we need to try to work amicably with them
Yes.
so that they will work with us.
Yeah, but just let them know, it's just during pool
Yeah,
season.
that's
So
fine,
who's gonna police it?
the police.
No, it's private property. Who's gonna police it?
What do you mean?
Who's gonna make sure that there's 10 spaces?
I
Who's gonna
thought
make
we-
sure that
I
they're
thought
not all
we were a
used?
municipality.
Drive by there when they have a tournament
They're all used.
and see who's gonna make sure that they're not parking there and that there's spaces for the pool.
Just
Pool
say,
people.
can you please
Well, if you
let
do it
the
with all
people
of them.
who come in to play golf, where have you parked?
Are you gonna be at, what time's the tournament start tomorrow?
Sometimes they start at 7:30.
Okay, so are you gonna park up there every 7:30 in the morning when they
No.
have a tournament and ask them to move?
No, they are responsible to letting their tournament, do not park in this space. Or they will put up a sign, that's what they do at Walden. They put up a sign at least 3 times, do not park in this area for your tournament. And that's it.
I'm not a golfer, so.
That's
I don't
I'm
think
just-
that's
I thought
feasible.
we're talking, I thought the discussion was about putting up signs on all of them or some of them. first thing.
Mine was all of them,
No.
but
I think
apparently
it's
I've been shot down by one person.
not being shut
So,
down, you're one person too, by the way.
I know,
Okay.
I know,
And
I know.
I think
I will tell you, at the
That is
request of
plenty.
the CIA, they have asked for all of them.
Well,
that-
I think that there could be two words that could be put on the bottom of the sign that could say in season.
In season.
Perfect,
I like that, yeah.
yes.
or actually put the dates.
From this date to that.
Well, because the
Labor
dates have
Day.
changed from year to year.
Yeah, that's true.
Just say in season.
Memorial Day.
I mean, obviously in December, it's not gonna be a swimming pool
I
time.
like what you said, that's what they do over there, Memorial to Labor Day, that's what
Memorial
they
to
say.
Labor Day.
Yeah,
Something like
Whatever.
that seems
So,
reasonable to me.
yeah. So. Okay.
And I think that we need to delineate these parking spaces with different paint.
yes.
I think rather than just have, we need to paint the parking spaces with either a deep yellow or a red or
Deep
blue
blue.
or
Deep
something
Pool on
to delineate it from the regular golf course parking spaces.
Yes.
That's true, you had a good idea. Why can't, it's 4 letters. Could you guys stencil the word pool on the spaces, like where you do the handicap
Oh,
sign?
I like that, yeah.
Do pool,
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
I like that idea.
That brings up.
What kind of
another
shape
question.
are the,
Do we need
what kind of
it?
shape are the spaces in?
They're not in very good shape.
Yeah, they're not.
I mean, they could use being re-asphalted, but I'm not
That's
suggesting
not,
that we do
no, we're
that.
not gonna do
We're
that.
not gonna do that.
at this time.
But I certainly think we could put the word pool.
But instead of putting it in the ground, you know those metal, those cement barriers that when you go to the grocery store, it's on the ground? If you put the word pool on the cement thing right there, one can see, oh,
I'd put it on
I
the
would
ground.
think you would see it on the ground before you would.
but it, like you
But
said,
it's
the ground is
deteriorating.
bad, the ground is
You could-
shot.
you
Isn't
could
it?
Well-
put pool
Okay.
only on each.
It's
so-
deteriorating.
It's not.
If we
Okay,
had
so you
those,
wouldn't
if
be
we
able
already
to-
have the concrete things up there, when they're starting to turn into there, and it says
Yes, sir.
pool parking only.
Concrete.
Yes, yes.
No concrete barriers, so we don't have those.
Do we need a handicap?
Well, it's cheaper
spot?
than
We would have to have at
asphalt
least
right
two.
now.
Two?
There's a percentage that you have to have for handicap. We would have to have at least 2.
Correct. Because I use mine.
I don't know about one.
Well,
Huh?
you gotta provide handicap parking.
We have
Well, who's
handicap
the
people.
hell?
We have handicap people.
There's handicap parking at the current pool at the sports park.
Is there?
Yes, like 3
Oh, that's right, there's 2 spaces there.
So I would say we probably need to put 3 handicap spaces closest to the pool. And then the rest of them, we would put the word, I like that idea of putting the word pool on the ground.
Yeah, pool
Well,
parking.
Get a stencil and put
Carl says
pool.
it's not in good shape.
No, that is true. It's
The
shot,
ground is,
The ground's.
gravel
The
and all
asphalt is
that.
deteriorating. It's-
Yeah.
Like grass
the
coming up
stones are
through it.
falling out.
Yeah.
Stones are
Well, then we go with the signage idea.
I like all the signs at once for me, I just like to put all the signs up, that way we don't have to come back later or 6 more signs, or do something, and then put in season only, or full season only, or Memorial Day through Labor Day. It's a quick thing,
That's fair.
and then that's there.
Yep.
But I like Tom's idea, because in reality, they're not gonna get used. We're not gonna get that many cars.
Well, I will tell you,
at the
if
pool.
they have to let Mosswood in, how many people from Mosswood are gonna drive over?
Bunch of them doing golf carts right now.
Oh, I don't.
But the point is, I'm just trying to say we need.
Well,
to
where
work-
are they gonna park the golf carts? They gotta have a parking space for
They
the
always
golf cart.
park
They
them
always
by
park
the
them
gate.
by the grass, on
They
the gate.
pull in at an opening and park by the
On the
gate.
grass?
Sure.
You
Yep.
think Jamie's gonna let them park on the grass?
They've
They've
been
always-
doing it.
they've always
That's not
done
gonna
that.
happen, I'm gonna
That's
tell
what
you, cause
happened.
she's landscaping that
That's
right
right.
now.
It's been
That's
that
not
way
gonna
since
happen.
time immemorial.
Well, the reality is, it's not gonna be a requirement for this year, because that pool's not gonna.
Right,
open
it
this
won't
year.
open this year,
Right.
yeah,
So it's something we can discuss,
right,
but it's not anything that we need to take
right.
immediate action on, because that pool is not gonna be
Right.
open this
Correct,
summer.
correct.
Yeah.
Okay, are we talking about those parking spaces below?
Mhm.
Yes.
Now, how are you gonna get somebody handicapped
I know.
up the hill to get into the pool?
Well, you're thinking of someone in a wheelchair or
Or
something like
even
that.
hard to walk,
Well-
you know,
Yeah.
that
Well,
is.
they-
Drop
they're
them
not
off at the
providing-
gate and go park.
They're not providing handicap now,
Yeah,
so
Yeah.
the reality is, we're
nobody's
gonna be
interested.
doing them, we're gonna be doing them justice by at least giving them some space closer to the pool
Yeah.
that's dedicated to them.
Yeah.
Right now, if somebody wanted to go play golf and had a bad leg or something, they would still have to park there and walk all the way up to the golf carts.
But if you're using the word, I am trying to provide something for the handicap closest to the gate. Handicap
There's no way to do
Association-
it unless you get someone out
Handicap
of the parking lot.
Association will come in and say, you are going to have to now meet the requirements.
There's no handicap association.
They will.
Well, we
come
gotta
in.
meet ADA,
But,
right?
but
Yeah.
I think it does need to be looked into of what is required. If
Yeah.
we designate parking spots
That's
for
right.
that, what does need to be required.
Yeah,
that's
That
fine,
is
Yeah.
right.
Because it may mean that we
Open up a
would have
can
to
of
put,
worms.
take out some of the grass and put a spot up there by the gate. I don't know what the laws are for handicap spots, but.
Yeah, once you put that word up, you better meet that, so
You're
I
right.
agree. Can of worms, don't open it up, leave it like
Let's
that.
table this.
okay,
Yes.
table that one, okay. Public hearing for violation of district rules and damage to property, assessment of penalties.
They're not here.
They're not here.
Nobody's here.
They're not here. So I still think,
Just the people from last week.
no, it's not. We do have that on the agenda. This is for TACUS and Storm Tech.
Yeah.
So I think that what we should do is have the minutes reflect whatever time it is right now.
Okay.
I
7:56 PM.
very good for the board president to say that. And so we will be having a public hearing like we've done on other matters. And so what I'll say is I'll give you a little bit of a speech and then I think you can deliberate in executive session. And what we'll do is we'll come out of the hearing and then talk about the other two violations and then take all of that up in executive if you don't mind.
Okay.
So I don't think there's a whole lot to be said on the TACUS matter. I'm glad Keith is here just in case. We're loaded for bear on it, but y'all live here, you know what they've done to the community. Keith's done a very good job. He's done 99.9% of the work on this, and they've gotten all the stuff in the field taken care of, prepared invoices. They've cost you about $130,000 in Muni Ops' time. That's not, and my time's not near, not that much. It's here and there, but you have lawyer expenses, engineering expenses also on top of that somewhere. I'd say between 5 and 10 is probably a fair number there. And I've been in contact with them over the many months. We've been very patient with them. I was working with the CFO named Keith. It was also Keith. But he has now left the company, and I don't have a better contact there, and they've not done anything. And Storm Tech is their contractor, as you know. Storm Tech came and met with the board, a couple members of the board, and basically said, please can't you reduce the amount of money you say we owe you? And that was basically the pitch, and then we never heard from them again. And so we went ahead at your request, at your instruction, and sent an official violation package where we say, you're violating the rules, we're gonna have a public hearing. It was sent by your operator, which is standard operating procedure, certified in regular mail. I also emailed it to the contact that I had at Storm Tech, and we've not heard anything, not a peep.
Do we get a receipt from the?
Well, the green cards would have come back to your office. I don't know if you were able.
I've not seen it, but I can certainly ask at the office.
I feel very comfortable that they got it. We sent them by regular mail as well, and I emailed it. And I did get a call with a name that matched one of the people at Storm Tech, but they didn't leave a voicemail, so I did not call them back. So they have violated numerous rules. You have policies, procedures, park rules. They violated a whole bunch of them, damaging your property, parking on your property, illegally using your property. You can fine up to $20,000 per violation. And if a violation takes place over more than one day, every day is a new violation. And so there are, I would say, dozens, if not over 100 violations. We have a whole list that we can go over if you need to see, but you've seen Keith's bill before. every one of those incidents is a violation. So if you gave them the full amount, it would be a punishing number. So that's really all I have to say is they're not here, they don't have to be here. Whatever your decision is, we will notify them of it. I expect once we do that, they'll take you even more seriously and come begging for mercy. So we'll see if we can at least get them here in a month or two after that. But, you know, my opinion is you should throw the book at a company like this. We've spent a ton of time on it. We've tried to be very patient. This started last June. You can believe that. And one of the things I've seen doing this for 20-something years now is it's better to be patient, because sometimes they work out, sometimes someone tells you, oh my goodness, I didn't know, it didn't go to the right guy, it gets fixed. It's better to do that than haul off too quickly, but we've been very patient. The board's, I think, done a very good job here, and it's my view that we've done enough of that. So do you have any questions or commentary that you have for the public session?
So, they break a water main, okay, and it costs whatever it is to fix it.
Yes.
So, we'll say it's $10,000 to fix it. So, they owe us the $10,000 plus $20,000 because of it's an occurrence.
Correct.
Okay.
And, you know, we're here in public session, so I'll say this knowing it'll be on the record. In assessing the violation, you can take into account the actual damages to the district. And if that violation were paid, you could decide not to pursue a second recovery of that same amount of money. But technically, the violation is for a breach of your rules, and then they also have tort liability for negligence, right? They weren't your contractor, they were someone else's contractor. They didn't do what a reasonably prudent contractor or operator would do, so you have a negligence claim against them that is independent from the violation. That's a very good question. So you can technically do both.
Okay.
And the next one, the next
Later
violator?
session.
Well, we don't, that's the only one for the public hearing. So do you want to suspend the public hearing pending a discussion in executive session, and then we'll talk about the other two, because you ruled on the other two last month, so we don't have another
And
public
that was
hearing.
an open session also.
No, well,
I remember I sat here.
we voted to what we were going to do, but we discussed it in executive.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah, it's
no
pending
problem.
litigation, it's
Yeah.
potentially threatened litigation, so that's quite obviously.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
So-
Can we get everything done in public session besides authorizing everybody to do everything and then go into executive?
Yeah, so I was gonna say is why don't we suspend the executive session if you wanna tell us what time it is for your official watch there, Julie?
It's 8:02.
8:02, and then, I think you have next are the two pending violations, if you don't mind if I address that board. So, you issued 2 violation rulings last month, and I'll start with the easy one. Mr. Mallet, I was very impressed with his presentation. He got a hold of me, and, say this delicately, he doesn't really have a way to pay with a check or anything like that. So he was hoping to Zelle the money, which I appreciate, but I don't think either one of our law firms operate that way. And so I thought I'd come and talk to you tonight to see, I know we talked about going ahead and having that work done.
Which
Was
we
it
did.
done?
Yeah,
Okay, has it been paid for?
yes.
Okay, well that's not what I wanted to hear.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay, I was gonna say he could just pay it directly.
Oh,
So I'll just
tell
tell
you the cashier.
Yeah, I'm just gonna tell him he has to.
or
Yeah.
money order or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah, it's no problem, I just, he was a nice enough guy, and I just figured if it hadn't been paid, he could just send them the money directly. But that's been paid, so I'll just tell him.
check for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just tell him he has to do that. That's no problem. But he acknowledged it, he got my letter with the ruling, we've talked, everything's cool there. He just was making a little request. Typical guy works, and banks aren't necessarily open when that's the kind of stuff he's telling me. So, but that's fine, I'll tell him he has to get a cashier's check.
You can go to 7-Eleven.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
gotta get
right,
on
no
the
question. Okay, so Carrillo, you remember the result from last month, $20,000 fine. I think you were very justified in that. And so, I feel odd, really not sure what to say here. They were supposed to be here tonight. I talked to them after the hearing. I sent them an official letter. I can't remember, I'm not sure I sent the ruling letters to the board. I can't remember if I did that. But I sent them an official correspondence on your behalf. And I had a very long talk. I talked with both of them separately, Mr. and Mrs. Creo. I had a very long talk with Barbara. And she was very affected by the result. I mean, crying and crying on the phone. I mean, can't believe it. Oh my, I didn't know. We're sorry. We were so angry. We didn't know what was going on. You know, all that kind of stuff. This is going to break us. We don't have that kind of money. So what I told her was, look, the board decided what it decided. It was justified in doing that. And I said, I can't go into their mental process, but just compare how you reacted in the meeting versus the other person who was there for a violation. And I said that probably had something to do with it. So she asked if she could be put back on the agenda to come and talk to you to see if you would reconsider the amount of the penalty. And I was clear with her. I have it in writing. I told her on the phone it was tonight. You know that your meetings are usually on the Thursday, and it was moved. I told her on the phone the correct day. I put her a very long email explaining what she needed to do to come. I even had Davis put it on the agenda. And I checked my email again, and it said Tuesday, 6:30, the 23rd. And they weren't here, so you see me, I'm actually working when we're doing this. I'm on the video here, so you know, I'm not goofing off when you see me on my phone in this. So I was getting a hold of her saying, where are you, emailing, texting, doing whatever, and she's freaking out, thought it was Thursday. At least this is what I'm told. I'm not here to judge the veracity of these comments. I'm telling you what I'm being told, that they thought it was Thursday. They're in Huntsville, according to her. Their house was hit by a tornado, she says, today.
There was.
There was, I know there was. Yes, on my way up here driving, it was telling me on my screen in my car, tornado, and I'm like, well, maybe I shouldn't go to the meeting. But, so I
think I'm through River Plantation, the tornado. I was at home when it.
No, their house in Huntsville.
They live,
Okay, so
They might have a second house.
yeah, I think, yeah, right. I mean, I'm not their spokesperson. I represent this district. I don't know if it's true.
I saw it with my eyes at my house.
I'm just here to tell the board what I'm being told. And so during the meeting, I was able to get a hold of them, and she seems very panicked in her text and her emails, and apologizes and is asking if you could consider this at your next meeting. I think this should be talked about in executive session, because if they don't pay, the next step is court. And the only complication I really see there, I mean, again, I tend to be a fan of trying to hear from people and work these things out, because it's usually, in the long run, you wish you had at least tried when we're beating someone up in court for a year. But the only complication you're going to have is we gave them 45 days, and if they paid within that time, it would reduce the fine.
Right.
So, and that time period expires before the June meeting. It just, you know, I don't know if that was intentional or just the way it worked out, but it gave them at least through the May meeting.
Right.
They did want to come talk. They got their calendar wrong. They're not here. So they're asking you to take it up at the June meeting, which you can say yes, you can say no. If you say yes, you can say yes, but you know, you're coming at your own peril because it's after the deadline, or you can vote to modify the deadline tonight till after the June meeting. So again, I think this is probably executive session discussion. I'm just giving you information for the public to hear, but that's the decision point on that one.
I'd like to be a judge and you before me. Definitely.
Good or bad?
You wouldn't be able, you'd be always settling.
Oh no, that's not me. I
Sounds
tried
like
a
it
$400 million
now.
lawsuit in Corpus
Sounds
Christi
like
in
it
December.
may.
I know. This is what you get when you have an experienced trial lawyer. You try to work it out if you can.
All right, so do we want to adjourn to go into executive session?
Or
do
finish
we have any more
whatever-
questions?
Yeah, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Is there anything else on the agenda?
Nope, that's
No.
it. Okay.
Catch you all on TV.
Yeah, that's all I see on the agenda. Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
thank you.
Davis, you'll call in obviously like normal.
Can you do the pose?
Yeah, I gotta grab my phone, it's over there, hang on a second. We are back in session at
Bernadette on that.
8:54 PM.
Okay. I make a motion that we assess Storm Tech and Tachus $225,000. And that's one motion.
Okay, do I have a second?
I second.
And I think just for clarity, would be to just clarify whether that's two
That's the
twenty-five each.
damages.
Whether that's two
225
twenty-five
each.
each
No, it's
or
not.
225.
$225 each.
Okay, for the fine.
Yes, for the funds.
Correct, and $225 each.
Okay. We have a second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
And then, we're gonna carry item number 8 to,
nine.
item number 9 to the next meeting on June 8th to allow the, Carrillos to, appear and plead their case. So I make that motion that we allow them to come to the next meeting on June 8th.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay.
Right, and the next meeting, next two meetings have been changed, the dates have been changed to June 8th at 6:30 PM, the next regular meeting, and then June 13th,
July.
at, July 13th at
Excuse me, is
6:30
it-
PM.
Oh, yes, come on. Yeah, no, no, it's
Yeah.
open now. We just came out. Thank you.
Sorry, we didn't know anybody was still out there, so, we've changed the okay, so do we?
It's okay. If you
Okay.
want to re-say it, that's totally
Okay.
fine. It's okay.
All right, so just to kind of sum up what we did, since we didn't know you were still out there, we voted to assess Storm Tech and Tachus $225,000 each. We agreed to carry item number 9 to the next meeting, which we've scheduled for June 8th. Okay, that's gonna be our next regularly scheduled meeting, so that the Carrillos can plead their case. And our next two meetings have been changed to June 8th at 6:30 PM and July 13th at 6:30 PM. June 8th and
June 8th,
July
July
13th. It'll be on the website. Give us a couple of days. So, okay.
Okay.
All right. Anything else?
I make a motion that we adjourn.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Good night.